Andrea in Salt Lake City, you're on.
Hey, Happy New Year, you three.
Happy New Year.
What's the cutoff, Andrea? When do you stop saying Happy New Year to people?
I was going to go with your date of tomorrow. I figured if I said it tomorrow, you would tell me to take a hike.
Yeah.
Got to get it in early.
Yeah.
With the last caller, I'm kind of, Tass does T-shirts as well, but when it comes to the printed word T-shirts, I'm kind of the guru for that, for the Schlunatic universe. I just want to point that out.
Yeah. Yeah. I should do that. Maybe I'll keep the proceeds myself.
Well, we'll split it. You'll get some of the proceeds. I kind of want to make a buck, too. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair.
Andrea in Salt Lake City. You get any box wine out there?
Yeah, but you got to get it from a liquor store. It's expensive and a pain, so I usually just go with the cheap beer myself.
Yeah.
There you go.
What do you think of Hoda? Does she deserve? I mean, I don't know if she's never going to get the $25 million. I think, but does she deserve a little more? It's at the very least in this era of pay disparity and the year of women and everything else. It's a little embarrassing, isn't it, Andrea?
It's a little bit, but like Jonna said, I mean, she needs to get a better manager or whoever to negotiate for her. But I think this kind of proves that if NBC did pay her the same as Matt Lauer, I mean, take this to its logical conclusion. What if she turns out to be a sexual predator? I mean, NBC would really...
Yeah, you really don't know.
At that point.
7 or 8 Merlots. Women are capable of saying some pretty sousy things. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Oh, yeah, I have firsthand experience. The crazy stuff I say. Oh, really terrible.
That's really funny.
It happens when you drink wine in the morning. Things can get crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, Andrea, stay on the line because we are running through stories like crazy, okay?
Oh, fantastic.
And
Love
so maybe we can bring you in on this, but I want to move on to the next story. But he was in it's called a suicide forest. Have you ever heard of the suicide forest?
No, not till today.
They have one in Cleveland for the Browns fans, yes. Never heard of that one.
Exactly. Well, look.
I think they were advertising it on Expedia deals last week.
That's how he got it. His whole entourage got in there. Andrea,
I think it's stupid.
That's a silver lining.
Andrea, he lost his Disney Channel show about 6 months ago. Isn't that enough?
I would say so. I lost my Disney Channel show a couple years back.
Yeah,
It was the most painful
that whole background check's a killer, ain't it, Andrea?
Oh, you're telling me. Yeah. Lost the Disney show, kept my clearance. That was weird. But anyway.
Let's bring Andrea in Salt Lake City. Andrea, do you use the Do Not Disturb sign in hotels?
Yeah, I do, but I also know that they're not going to work. I used to work at a hotel, and yeah, deadbolt is the best way to go, especially if you're staying at a hotel with key cards, because the programming system for those is not infallible. So even if you do manage to latch the door, someone might be able to just be mistaken and wander into your room. And that's the last thing that I need.
Andrea, Deborah Messing, do you think it was appropriate for her to post a picture of her son as the latest social justice warrior?
I think in general it's just ill-advised across the board to trot your child out to advertise your political beliefs.
Yeah.
Especially a 13-year-old. Yeah, because it's not hard enough being a male teenager or a female teenager for that matter. It's absolutely ludicrous. Oh, and by the way, totally off topic, Tass says hello to all three of you.
Tass,
hey.
the resident artist who is probably drawing the show as we speak. Marie, how do you like your likenesses in the Tass drawings that we featured on the 5 last week?
I know. I like them. The glasses always come out well. Sometimes I look cranky, but sometimes I am cranky.
Yeah, sometimes Tass made you kind of giving the side eye to your co-host.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I'm the liberal. That's how I look.
I love
Andrea,
the way you said that, too.
Thanks for the call. Let's take Andrea in Salt Lake City. Andrea, welcome to the show. You've called before. You've called before, haven't you, Andrea?
Do you have your gun? This is that lady?
Speaking of guns.
This is her, right?
Yeah.
This is Andrea with the gun.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least you guys remembered me.
How you doing?
That's flattering in and of itself. Tass and our mutual animator pal, Eric, say hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello to them.
Big fans.
But yeah, with the NFL, I think guns is absolutely correct. It's the exciting players just aren't there anymore.
Brady's tied to the Pats, is he not? He can't go anywhere.
Yeah, he's never gone.
He's like the only one, yeah.
But Tom, everybody except for you hates the Patriots.
Exactly. Let's solve this. Let's let someone who knows about sports answer this. Andrea,
Yes.
whose team is it?
Whose team is Patriots? Kraft, of course. He's the owner, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Come on
I
now.
mean, I guess just to be all common sense about it, you're right. I think the tension is overplayed. What think you, Andrea?
I would say it's overplayed because we all want everything to be reality TV. So I think a lot of this is just manufactured drama for the entertainment of the masses, since NFL ain't entertaining them anymore.
But he's a talented
Andrea,
kid.
thank you for calling the Tom Show.
Bye, Andrea.
Bye, Andrea.
The 833-852-4866.
I was worried I'm going to hear a gunshot in the background when we say goodbye to Andrea.
No, she'll be. I think that's probably her. She's called in many times. I don't know what it's.
She might have a thing for
Could
me.
be her 50th call. I think it may be.
We love Andrea. She's
it may
great.
be you, Guns.
I think so.
Although she calls in when you're not here, just so you know. Yeah. City, welcome. You are on the Tom Shalhoub Show.
I kind of figured as much. I heard that ding in the background. But, yeah, Joe is correct. It is absolutely painful for a non-comedian to listen to you guys break down the facts of Gronk jokes.
It is.
It is torturous.
Andrea, we're going to take a break. How's things out there in Salt Lake City?
First day of school, so I'm swamped, and I'm going to go back to my desk and start crying because I'm way behind, and this only put me further behind. But
Excellent.
It was worth it.
Yeah, it was. And by the way, thank you for being on hold for 2 hours and 45 minutes. That was very sweet of you.
Not a problem. Anything for you, Tom, and I love Joe more than anything.
Oh, you always have fans. Every time I'm on here, people love Joe.
But no, it's always.
Oh, is it always?
Allie's like, every time somebody calls for Joe.
Yeah.
Andrea, thank you for calling.
Thanks.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll be. Yeah. Let's take Andrea in Salt Lake City.
I remember her.
Yes. Andrea's calling a little often. She calls in the 5 o'clock hour, but it's great to have you join us a little early, Andrea.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I just wanted to ask Mike, since he is the expert in all things because of his extensive research, his masterful trolling, and just in general how much he rips on John DeVore, much to my delight.
I won't repeat the nickname I gave DeVore in my show.
Oh, why? Does it have to be bleeped on Fox News Radio, or can you
I
say
don't
it
want
on your
people.
show?
I don't want people Googling it.
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with that.
Andrea in Salt Lake City, have you heard of micro-cheating?
No, this is the first I'm hearing of it, but I think it's just because I wasn't familiar with the word itself. But upon description,
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. Been around forever.
How about the old standby, the emotional affair? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, that's what I got accused of.
Emotional affair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably right, too, in hindsight. Like, the accusation was probably fair.
Yeah. Andrea?
I didn't touch her, but like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Do you think? Well, first of all, do you think there's anything wrong with it, or do you think that that little things could be construed as cheating? These little non-sexual things.
It's not the actions themselves that are the problem. It's what's really underlying. I mean, if it's just, all right, you're feeling generous, you gave the bartender a bigger tip, okay, that's fine. But if it's like, if there's something deeper underlying there that that person isn't addressing, that can create huge problems. And I'm speaking as someone who's been single the majority of my adult life. So
Good for you.
She's just going, so what do I know?
It's about what's underlying it. No, that's true, Andrea.
very
That's a
good at
very
theory.
Dr. Drew answer.
I'm very good at theory, practicality.
Right.
A woman got a refund for her Christmas tree because it died. Andrea, she actually went back to the store. I got to give her credit for that. Dragging a tree back to the store.
You really want that
No,
money back.
It's actually really genius. I call this the feel-good story of the day. No, because play this out. What are you going to do with a dead tree anyway? You're going to throw it on the curb and not get any money out of it. Worst case scenario, Costco doesn't refund her money. What are they going to do? Make her drag the tree back out of the store with her? It's not going to happen.
She got a
Oh,
trunk full of pine
Imagine
needles,
that
though.
social media
Costco.
viral video.
You know what you do, Jamie, with an old tree? You light it on fire. They burn like crazy.
That's it. In
Next
the house.
time, next time, next year.
No, do it outside. Do it outside. Jamie Lavella, Sam Roberts, thanks for being with us. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Tom. And I am a little surprised, since I know you're a super Catholic, that you haven't seen this film, because it would also seem that all of your call screeners / producers share the same name as the 12 apostles. Like, I thought you had seen this.
It's true. Well, let's see. We've got Matthew. We've got John.
Peter and John, come on.
Peter, right. I know. We got to get a Luke in here.
Yeah, sure. Throw in a Seamus just to mix it up.
I just love that she calls you super Catholic. I just picture you with a cape.
Yeah. Super
SC.
Catholic. In my
There's only
surplice.
one way to be Catholic, and Tom has achieved it.
Yes, it's true.
Father Tom.
Oh,
We do have Judas on the board. Oh, no, that's Josh.
oh, John. Poor guy.
There was there a Josh? There was probably a Josh in the Bible, too, somewhere, right? Joshua.
Yeah,
Joshua,
in the
of
Old
course.
Testament, yeah.
Yes. Andrea, you're out there in Salt Lake City. I'm sure that there's a lot, I don't think anyone celebrates MLK Day like Utah. Right? Is it the celebrations?
I think that the Church of Latter-day Saints is a big festival with collard greens.
Listen,
and
I'm not poking. There is a lot of Mormons in Salt Lake City, but I bet they do. I bet there are a lot of people in the vein of like the Mitt Romneys and everything else like that have a great tie to the.
Does anyone do anything to celebrate Martin Luther King Day, though?
What happens? How are you celebrating,
Right.
Andrea?
it's a good day to buy a new mattress.
Yeah. Okay.
I've stayed in my apartment all day long.
That's how I
cleaning
celebrate
it,
everything.
Yeah.
and watching Ali's appearance on Greg Gutfeld. Enjoyed it.
Oh, thanks so much,
immensely.
Andrea. That was so much
And
fun.
Aruba Ray, when's your appearance going to be? You're in New York for another couple days, right?
I'm going to be in New York another couple of weeks, and I'm flattered and mildly creeped out that you know my schedule.
Wait. A little bit of a timeout. Ray, you do realize that we are Facebook pals, right?
Oh, is it? What do we say your last name, or do you keep that private?
Oh, yeah, go Bananas. My last name's Bryant. My cousin's Kobe and Des, yeah.
Oh, we are Facebook friends. Well, hello.
right. Yes, you've probably seen
Yeah,
pictures
yeah.
of her foot in various stages of healing.
Ah, okay. Well, I hope you're healing well.
Yeah, I'm running and everything, and hopefully see all three of you in about another week or so.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be great.
She'll be visiting New York. Excellent, Andrea. Thank you. Thank you for calling.
See you soon.
Let's take Andrea in Salt Lake City. Andrea, you got a problem with the some of the results of the president's health test. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm kind of with your guys in the booth. There is no way that Trump weighs 239 pounds. Maybe
Really?
those numbers are correct, but they are in the wrong order. It would be my suspicion.
Wait a minute. Andrea, what do you think? What's the number? You don't think he's
Yeah,
329?
No, but I would say, speaking as someone who's deceptively fat myself, it would probably be closer to the 260 range, I would imagine.
Interesting. Andrea, does it surprise you that Joe considers Aziz to be cute?
I was just going to say that. Cute, totally inaccurate, famous, pushing it. I mean, come on, Joe. We're here to
Hey,
go back.
Andrea, at no point did I say I thought he was funny. That's where I draw the line.
I wasn't sure if that was going to be a live omission. So I'm going to give you credit there.
Andrea, thanks for the call. See you in New York City sometime. Let's take Andrea. Andrea in Salt Lake
Hey.
City. Yeah, Andrea, you
Hey.
probably killed your own animals, haven't you?
Yeah, and oddly not for food. But as far as Chris Pratt is concerned, if he were to pose with vegan food, I would attack him. So I think the lesson here is Chris Pratt should just be Chris Pratt.
Let's take Andrea in Salt Lake City. Welcome to the show, Andrea.
Thanks for having me on again, Tom. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Do you think this is it is more than this has been a man-woman story? You just don't get it. I think it's now an age story. Am I right?
I do think that is the way as you describe by and large, but I also think it's just how younger people communicate. I'm pretty comfortable having been in the military, been screamed at. It's not as big of a deal to scream at someone or yell at them. Or hit them even.
Yeah.
But
Did you ever make your date get down and give me 10?
Oh, good for you.
Give me
Tom. My parents are listening to this show. Like, that might have a totally different connotation. Younger people mainly communicate via social media, text message, whatever else. It's all very nonverbal. And so that, combined with not being used to standing up for yourself, is kind of a recipe for disaster and really awful dates like this.
Andrea, what's your take? I think Aziz has kind of come out of this as of all the guys who've been embroiled in this, he's come out the most shining example.
At least scathed, I might put it more that way, but perhaps I'm a pessimist.
Yeah. Andrea, thanks for the call. 833-852-4866. Sometimes I forget to give out the number.
Oh, oops.
Andrea already knows it. She's got it down. We're in her book.
I love Andrea.
Me too. She's one of the greatest of all time.
So smart.
And she'll be in New York next week. We have some fans coming to visit us. Hey, guess who's on the line? Andrea in Salt Lake City.
Andrea!
A real amateur.
Hey, how you guys?
A real amateur of the show.
I really am, at least as far as the unpaid part of it goes. Other than that, I'm all professional all the time.
Do you know Jamie LaBelle is heading out to Salt Lake City?
I am.
I heard a rumor about that, yeah.
I know, I'm going to have to hit you up.
You'll land in Salt Lake City, hopefully be nice clear skies when you get here, but otherwise, I think you'll like Park City quite a bit better.
Thank you.
Andrea, I got a question for you.
Sure.
It's basically this, and it's to you guys on the panel here, too. Are women a little out of control? Monique just tweeted out a video. She said that she only got offered $500,000 for her Netflix special, and it's because she's a black woman. I feel like we in this age of Me Too and the pay equity, and you had last week, remember, Marky Mark got paid more than Michelle Williams. Oh, it's pay equity, whatever. I feel like it's not good for these people to think, like Monique, she's not worth more than $500,000. I mean,
I was going to say, who the heck is Monique?
She's not quite Chris Rock. You know, she may think she is. So my question is basically this, Andrea: are women a little out of control with the pay equity thing?
I think there's different cases coming out where somebody didn't get paid enough, and there's media outrage. In Monique's case, there's she's got outrage, whatever else. I think it just comes down to women are terrible negotiators, and they need to hire some better agents or something. I don't know what's going on.
I know. Who's Monique's agent? Look, how about this?
Who's Monique?
Well,
that's the real question.
What's your last name?
Andrea, thank you for calling.
A creek.
We'll see you in New York City someday. 833-852-4866. Oh, look at that. We'll take a break now. We'll be back on the Tom Shillue Show. Also calling, another regular, Andrea from Salt Lake City. Andrea's on the line. Welcome to the show, Andrea.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys, on such a special occasion.
Andrea, where are you calling from?
I have no idea where I am right now, and I'm not wearing pants, so it's really not narrowing it down. So
Nice.
I can't help you.
Andrea is in our studio, but she is in the control room. She's in New York City. This is like how would you describe this week? It's like a field trip for all of the regulars, right, Andrea?
Field trip for nerds, yeah, I second that.
So you're out from Salt Lake City. Tass is out from Washington State. Who else is in the studio? We have that strange gentleman. I've never met him before. His name is Eric.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Joe DeVito, but...
You got burned. Don't come after me,
I'm
Andrea.
going to make a call to Fox Security. They're just letting anyone into the building these days.
Yes. He does. Tom Shillue Back with the Tom Shalhoub Show. What a party. It's National Pie Day. Let's get the reviews for the McDonald's pie. Andrea, your review of the McDonald's pie.
First thing I ate in 24 hours. Wish I would have waited an additional 24 hours.
Oh, see, yeah. You get it. You know, you can't have it after a fast. That's right.
Yeah, baby.
Tom Shalhoub back with the Tom Shalhoub Show. We're here with Mike Baker, former CIA secret operations officer.
Yeah.
And director of Diligence LLC. This is Ask the Spy. Let's go right to Andrea on the phones here. Andrea in Salt Lake City, or she's Andrea from Salt Lake City, but I believe she's somewhere in the New York area.
Andrea in New York. Hey, Andrea, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, Mike?
Excellent. I'm doing good. I hope you guys are having fun.
Oh, yeah. More fun than I'd care to admit.
Tell the amazing Tass we said hello.
Yeah. Hey, hang on a second. Hey, Tass. Mike says hello. Say hello. Love you. All right. There you go. So anyway, I wanted to ask, number one, not just how I can ask a spy something. I think I figured that part out, but how I can meet a spy. But we can talk offline about that later.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, with all the other FBI agents losing text messages, does that sound like a bug or a feature to you?
Thanks for the call, Andrea. I think we'll see you. Andrea is going to be stopping by the studio on Friday, and Tass will be live drawing us once again from the studio. I don't know if Tass is going to fall behind on today's drawing because they have so many activities.
Damn it, get back to work.
Yeah. And now the famous Andrea joins us, and in studio is Tass doing the drawing. You can watch the live draw happening.
You can hear the pen scratching against the paper.
Facebook.com/Tom Shalhoub Show. So, Tass, you just draw with a ballpoint pen. Is that the way it's always done?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Wait a minute. It's not
Why
always
not a
done.
pencil? Why
Picasso never used a big pen.
Now, Andrea, you've been out to New York before because you were out at the book launch of Mean Dads for a Better America.
It's all about my love for Tom Shalhoub.
Well, some call it
really
love,
a
some
huge
call
draw.
it stalking.
No, it's called surveillance because that's not a felony. Tom Cotter joke.
Yeah, there you go. So, Andrea, tell us about the activities of the week. You met in New York, right? You flew in from Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Tass came in from the Washington State.
Yes.
Which I called the wilderness, and I offended some people the other day.
Depends on the part of the state.
Yeah.
So.
And Eric came in from Washington, D.C., right?
Maryland, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So from all the corners of the globe. And so tell us what you've done. Besides coming to see the Tom Shalhoub Show live, which this is your second episode here, where else have you been?
So we got to meet up with Mr. Lobley right after our first Tom Shalhoub Show appearance, and he gave us...
took him out for drinks. Because,
but that's just what you do. Yeah. But he also gave us just a really good working list of the different things that we could do. Tass had a pen and paper, so we put her in charge of taking notes.
She's the scribe.
Always has the pen and paper.
And
so Bill is like the Trivago guy for you guys?
He is.
But
with better hair.
My legs are way longer than his, and my chin is not as chiseled.
And then we supplemented that list with some tips from Mr. Jimmy Fela, who is, of course, a former cab driver, and we've been all over.
So what shows have you seen? Besides this, you saw Kennedy, right?
We saw Kennedy. We saw Morning with Bill Schultz, and
oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, Eric's been over Compound Media quite a bit more than we have, but
Eric's a bit of a fanatic on that end, right?
Hey, you know what? We all have our proclivities. So
last time somebody said proclivity on the show,
not successfully,
not pre-election.
Did you get to the Jim and Sam show on Sirius XM?
We did. Yeah, we got to see that this morning. That was awesome. And Ari Shaffir was on, and he's going to be in Salt Lake City next month. So it was like
Ari
a little
Shaffir.
It was like a little personal screening. Like, I will go see that show. So I got to get my tickets.
Yeah,
we seen his butt.
Whoa, wait a minute.
His butt.
Tass is not exactly on mic, but Tass said you saw Ari Shafir's butt. Now, this is breaking news.
Yes, we
Was
did.
it a clothed butt or a naked butt?
His butt gave the biggest performance, like really, rather than verbally. Like,
Did he
and-
do it?
and
He
Tass
did it
illustrated
in the studio?
Yeah.
Wait, did
yeah.
what in the studio?
I guess he depantsified.
Got it.
You got mooned.
Normal.
Yeah, it's more of a moon
Yeah.
than anything else.
Well, when you get
yeah.
caught between the moon and New York City.
It's hard to choose.
That's right.
Now, I think I saw there was a Snapchat conversation where Tass referred to the Greek god Eric Metaxas. Am I right about that? We tried to arrange a visit to Eric Metaxas, but he wasn't taping, so you didn't get to do that. But did you do any other touristy things like?
Yeah, so we rode the Staten Island Ferry the other day.
Fantastic. Working girl?
I've never heard that.
It's funny, this is a totally generational thing because I was thinking train wreck, but yeah, it's similar premise, I suppose. So we got to see the Statue of Liberty, Brooklyn Bridge, and then I gave Tass a little bit of a tutorial on some of the more nautical things that she might see, like navigation buoys, and she fell asleep standing up. And
She became a buoy.
just bobbing around there.
Bobbing around deck. I felt bad because Jimmy Fallon's like, you got to go Staten Island Ferry, and because it's cheap. And I'm saying, you got to go to Madame Tussauds. It's like $30 a head.
Yeah.
Go to the Mercedes dealership. Tell them it was me who sent you. Get an SL 450 for. So I gave them expensive stuff, but luckily they were able to get some.
No, we got great tips, and we've just had an awesome time. It's been
All
great.
right.
You guys should stay.
Well, and come
Don't
visit again
tempt me.
anyway. And I think you guys are coming to Peter Pan. That will top things off. It's a great production. And if you guys do, if anybody is local and you want to see about Peter Pan, I'll post a link to the Riverdale Children's Theater on our Facebook page, and I'll tweet about it. So let's do some stories, guys. Apparently there's a GOP Senate candidate. He's in kind of hot water for politically incorrect behavior. Home-cooked dinner
right.
every night at 6.
Yes.
Opposes nail-biting,
come on.
manophobic, hell-bent feminist she-devils. I thought maybe when I read it, being a man, it might sound worse. So you had a reaction to it. You probably were hearing a man's voice, right? So we got Alyssa here at Fox News Radio to read the bit here. Let's just a quote from the manifesto in a woman's voice. Maybe it will change the way it sounds.
Well, Chanel, my fiance, has given me orders to favor them, so I'd better. But Chanel knows that my obedience comes with a small price that she loves to pay anyway. I want to come home to a home-cooked meal at 6 every night. One that she fixes and one that I expect one day to have daughters learn to fix after they become traditional homemakers and family wives. Think Norman Rockwell here and Gloria Steinem be damned.
It does sound, to me, when you hear that he wants his daughters to grow up and be cook meals or whatever. Just a couple of years ago, that would have been a normal sentiment. It's obviously he is an old-fashioned guy, but do you think it's reprehensible, Andrea?
No, absolutely not. I was already sold on the message when I read it. Alyssa certainly sweetened the deal. I have to give her credit there.
Yeah.
No, I think actually it's just a fork in his political campaign, and now he's got to choose to take it, and he needs to start carrying around snakes like an old-timey preacher and commit to the bit.
Snakes is interesting.
Visual aids now. He's put it out in print.
Let's
visual
play
aids.
that part. I think we have that quote here. This is Alyssa once again reading the GOP candidate Cortland Sykes' letter.
I don't buy into radical feminism's crazed definition of modern womanhood, and I never did. They don't own that definition and never did. They made it up to suit their nasty, snake-filled heads.
So let's take a break here, and when we come back, we will have more from Andrea, from Tass, from Bill Lobley, and from Jamie Labella. This is the Tom Shalhoub Show. Tom Shalhoub back with the Tom Shalhoub Show. Politically correct now, isn't he? What's the new?
Certainly.
Well, who's the Bond now?
Daniel Craig.
Daniel
Yeah.
Craig. He's kind of a modern man, isn't he, Andrea?
He is, but he's still the ladies' man. And actually, with any of the James Bond films, the real problem that I came away with is that just how James Bond treated Q. I mean, he really didn't appreciate him, really took him for granted. But the ladies' man thing, I'm with Jamie.
He broke Q's stuff. Bond, what have you done with my pen?
And he didn't care.
He was ageist, maybe, right? Had no respect for his
so.
elders.
Exactly. I had a problem with that.
Thanks for joining us. Taz, the resident artist, thanks for coming to New York. It's great to have you here. Andrea, hopefully, let's make this like put it on a schedule.
Yes, we're doing it.
I will turn to drug muling to raise funds to make it happen.
Jamie LaBella, thanks for joining us. Bill Lobley,
Tom.
We'll see you soon. This is the Tom Shalhoub Show. Tom Shalhoub back with the Tom Shalhoub Show. As you know, he's here with Joe DeVito, and he's still here. And joining us now, Allie Breen. Welcome,
hey,
Allie.
guys. Thank you.
You came in here. We were talking during the break about last week, about our visits with Andrea from Salt Lake City.
Yes.
And Taz, the resident artist, the resident of Washington State.
I missed Taz, but I got to meet Andrea last night.
And
Yeah.
guess who's on the line now? Andrea from Salt Lake City.
Hey there.
But I'm not in Salt Lake City.
It's amazing. When do you go back, Andrea?
I leave tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's quite a week. It was great to see you. And I guess you went to see Allie Breen last night at the Greenwich Village Comedy Club.
Oh, who told you that? Oh, wait, let me guess. Hallie Breen.
That was me. I spilled the beans. And Pat Dixon. I left right before Pat was on. How was Pat?
Oh, hilarious
So
as
good,
always.
right? So funny.
How do you beat it? Yeah, and I presented him with his ludicrous-looking Trump challenge coin. He was very, very excited about that. It's almost as ludicrous as Joe describes in his own act. So.
Oh, that's great. Wait, are the military really giving Trump coins? Is that really happening?
No.
Okay.
Well,
That would be
explain,
amazing.
Andrea, explain the what a challenge
I
coin
do know
is
what the
for our
coin
listeners.
is, but yeah.
To put it in civilian terms, I mean, it's almost literally a token of appreciation. And I was at drill weekend going to grab a drink from the exchange, and I saw that Trump challenge coin, and it was so crazy as to be mildly arousing, and I knew exactly who needed to have that coin. So I picked it up.
Andrea, how about this? Utah teacher fired for showing students classical paintings containing nudity. This is very Utah of a story, isn't it, Andrea? This is, I think, this was not a pornography. They were showing classic nudes.
This is one of those stories that says more about the people trying to ban them than the others. Like, if that turns you on, if you can't see a painting and not get turned on and handle yourself, you're the one with the issues.
Yeah, it's Modigliani.
Oh, believe me, they are turned on, Allie. That's
the problem. Exactly.
Andrea, thank you for the call.
I love all of you.
Love you too,
Love you,
Andrea.
Andrea.
You're drunk.
We'll be back on the Tom Shalhoub Show. Let's take Andrea from Salt Lake City. Andrea, did you know that Utah is derived from the Indian word Utah, meaning people who
I'm
live...
painfully aware for this.
Yep, people who live high in the mountains. That's you, Andrea.
Yeah, well, there's the Ute and the Southern Paiute, and we're the Utes. So I guess that sort of answers the age-old question from the movie My Cousin Vinny, what's a Ute?
Yeah,
Utah.
exactly.
You got to figure it out.
You know what the best point we had in the last hour, Katie?
Yeah, do tell.
He called in the
Mine.
guy. Well, Andrea certainly had the great.
And
Yes.
Tom, to be honest with you, I find the name Cougar to be offensive because I don't think that any team should be referencing sexually aggressive older women as a mascot. I think that's inappropriate.
It is so true.
Would be a fierce team, though.
I know. And you know what?
It would be.
They used
Penn
to have...
State
like I
Nittany
say-
Lions, kinda.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
Nittany Lions aren't even a real thing.
That's true. Well played. Andrea's on fire.
Yeah.
I thank you, Katie. That's a huge compliment coming from you. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Andrea, you heading back to your fine state, the Ute state, the people of the mountains?
Yeah, boarding a plane in a couple hours. So just an amazing trip, and I thank you and Matt and the whole crew for helping making it so, and Pat as well for having me on his show last night. That was an unexpected and a greatly appreciated surprise.
You were a great guest. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And thanks for the Trump Challenge coin. Wow. Did you know she gave me a Trump Challenge coin?
That is amazing.
It's like, I have it with me right now. That's not great.
I have to add that to my Twitter bio and to my resume, deliverer of challenge coins from the president from my heart. So there you go.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Andrea. 833-852-4866. That's right.
I gotta Google it.
I am going to have a female mascot for the Tom Shalhoub Show. 833-852-4866. It's going to be it's like it's a mountain, and it's got Andrea's face on it in Utah. So let's take a break. Andrea in Salt Lake City. You're back in Salt Lake City, are you?
Yeah, unfortunately, back in Salt Lake, back at work, kind of bummed out, but I had a good time anyway.
Yes, good to see you here in New York.
Yeah, it was a fun visit. So, sorry I missed Heatha while I was there. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, yeah, you came to visit.
Yeah, she was in, and she was in the studio. And tasked the resident artists. We had fans from all over. Eric from the DC. I mean, it was they triangulated, and they really made it happen.
Oh my gosh, I'm so bummed I missed you guys, gals. I should say.
Andrea, do you have a texting and walking problem?
Yeah, I don't do it myself. I think it's fairly dangerous, but I don't want to outlaw it, definitely coming from a libertarian perspective, but also because I think comedy is what happens to other people. And watching videos of people just like stumbling into a huge fountain at the mall.
Great one. I've seen that one.
It never gets old. And I'd like to think that those people who are walking into fountains and trees were watching video compilations of other people walking into fountains and trees.
I like that.
That's probably true.
Inception.
Andrea, what's your take on the State of the Union? Did you see it?
No, because I was on a plane.
I see.
So missed it entirely, which actually might be a blessing.
It may be. Well, it's either confirmation that our president is a racist, or it's just a new day in America and everyone owes Trump an apology. One of the two things.
It's pretty polar, but yeah, you're probably correct.
Yeah. Thank you for the call. We're going to take a break. That's Andrea.